Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Shannon describes why he only gives Kyrie Irving 30% of the credit for the Cavs' big win over the Celtics last night, while Skip predicts that we may have a new king in Cleveland. Skip and Shannon see the touchdown celebration rule changes a little differently, and Shannon says he wants to come down to the Soul Train line just one time. Our man and former NBA champ Steven Jackson is back in studio, and he breaks down why Cleveland has a chance to beat the Warriors in the finals. Plus, Hall of Famer Chris Carter shares why a football coach should never talk about another team's players, and he reveals a story about Dak Prescott to Skip. Finally, former NBA All-Star Charles Oakley is at the desk to talk about this year's incident at Madison Square Garden and where he stands with the Knicks right now. Skip and Shannon, let's debate.
First, I want to send my condolences out to Cortez Kennedy's family. As we know, we lost one of our brothers of the National Football League yesterday at the ripe age of 48. Seems he's gone far too soon. Cortez and I came into the same draft in 1990. I went to Denver, he went to Seattle, so I played against him for a better part of a decade. And we had our battles. We talked back and forth, and after every game, Sharpe, love you, see you in Seattle, or we played in Seattle, see you in Denver. And every time I would see him, he's also a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And every time I would see him, Skip, he would always ask, how you doing? How's your brother doing? And when I got the news yesterday, I can't believe it. 48 years of age, and it seems like he was in great health. And every time I talked to him, he was always upbeat and positive. So I just want to send my condolences out to his family.
Didn't know him, but I was around Jimmy Johnson when he was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and Jimmy, who obviously coached Cortez at the U, Miami, always said that was the most talented player I ever coached. And Jimmy coached a whole lot of really good football players.
Skip, he was so dominant. In 1992, he was Defensive Player of the Year on a 2-14 team. That shows you just how dominant he was.
University of Miami Hall of Famer as well. Rest in peace and condolences to his family. We have Charles Oakley and Steven Jackson coming up later in the show. But let's get started with the Cavs. They trailed by as many as 16 last night before a huge second half to beat the Celtics and take a 3-1 series lead. LeBron got his fourth foul midway through the second quarter and spent the rest of the half on the bench. Kyrie Irving was spectacular, scoring a playoff career-high 42 despite injuring his ankle in the third quarter. Let's take a listen to LeBron and Kyrie after the game.
Saying to myself, they cannot tie up this series. They cannot. We cannot go to Boston 2-2 and then, it becomes almost an even series. You have to be able to face adversity, look it in the face, and say that you're not going to win today. And I'm telling my guys on the court the whole entire game, we've been through this before.
What's it like when you get on one of those personal roles offensively?
You get so juiced up, and you see a few shots going in, and then you feel the emotion kind of take over, and then shots just start to fall in, and then moves that you've practiced just become second nature, and that's an incredible zone to be in.
As the stakes get higher and higher, his game gets higher and higher. But it was nothing surprising for me. But he rose to the occasion, and he put the team on his back. And we definitely needed that effort from him. I'm happy, like I said, to be able to, sit back with 4 fouls and see him do what he's always been built to do. He was born for these moments.
Shannon, what % of the credit does Kyrie deserve?
I saw what you did here, Skip Bayless.
What?
Don't want me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it. Well, I'll explain it later. I give Kyrie Irving 30% of the credit. I give Kevin Love 5% of the credit. And I give the guy that was born on December 30th, 1984 to one Gloria James 65% of the credit.
What? Did you see the same game I saw?
Because I'm grading on the Skip Bayless scale. Because Skip Bayless says the fourth quarter is the money quarter. Now, LeBron James had 15 points in the fourth quarter. He had 2 assists for another 5 points. So 20 of the 25 points that they scored in the fourth quarter belonged to who, Skip Bayless? The king of Akron.
I will explain that to you in just a
No,
moment.
I need you to explain this.
Is it my turn?
No,
it's not my turn.
No, it's not your turn.
Okay.
Skip Bayless told me, hey, but the closer is Kyrie. Last night, the closer was King James. He got in foul trouble early, and Kyrie did what he did. And here's the thing, though, Skip. When LeBron went to the bench, they were down 10. When he came back in the game at the start of the third quarter, they were still down 10. Now, they didn't put any distance between the Cavs, but the Cavs didn't pull closer. So with that being said, and grading like my good friend Skip Bayless, because I watch him. I'm even trying to, sometimes I come out here with no tie on because Skip do it, because I want to be like Skip. Yeah, Eric, be like Mike. Forget Mike. Be like Skip. Kyrie gets 30. LeBron James gets 65, Kevin Love gets 5, because you've always told me the money quarter is the fourth quarter, and LeBron James was money. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you. I know you got a lot to go on, then you're going to send it back to me.
I got a lot to go on, and you don't deserve to have it sent back to you for the rest of this segment. I think I'm going to talk all the way to the commercial after what you just said. That might have been the most offensive thing you've ever said on this show, and the most wrong-headed thing, and the most inobjective thing you've ever said in the history of this show, after one of the great nights that we've ever watched a playoff performance in a crucial moment from Kyrie Irving. You just gave him 35%?
I gave him 30.
30% of the credit. Oh, yeah, Kevin Love gets the other.
K-Love with a 17-17 game.
Okay, I'm going to blow up what I was going to do, and I'm going to go right to what you said about the fourth quarter.
Okay, do that.
Okay, here are LeBron's baskets in the fourth quarter. You ready? No, it's my turn. It's my turn to talk,
Go ahead,
right?
go ahead.
Okay. He scores a layup that puts them up when they were up 8, okay? Layup up 8, layup up 8 again, dunk up 8 again, jumper when they're up 10, a three-point shot puts them up 9, and then another jumper puts them up 13. So the game clearly had been decided when he scored 15 late points, and he had 19 after 3 quarters that were the quietest 19 points I have ever seen. And in fact, his total 34 points were the quietest I've ever seen LeBron James score, especially in a playoff game, which is why, back to the question, if you're being truly objective about this, you have to give Kyrie Irving 100% of the credit, 100% for what happened last night. And I realize Kevin Love chipped in with 17 and 17 rebounds. But Kyrie Irving saved the game. He saved the Cavs season. He saved LeBron's legacy. And he saved the NBA from a Golden State-Boston finals that I think we were starting to see coming to life right before your very eyes, or maybe ratings death right before your very eyes, because it would be Celtics versus Warriors, Celtics without their lone all-star, the injured, of course, Isaiah Thomas. And can you imagine what would have happened if, in fact, the Celtics had closed that deal last night and gone home 2-2? Can you imagine the suffocating pressure on LeBron James in a Game 5 back in Boston? And everything, the momentum would have swung so wildly in Boston's favor. I would have given them a real shot to win this playoff series and get to the finals. It would be the greatest upset in NBA history.
So you mean like them losing Game 5 in Miami and go down 3-2 and then having to go back to Boston with the big 3? You talking about that kind of pressure when he hit 45, 60? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
but this is an older LeBron with more scar tissue than he had at that point, because he's got a lot of scar tissue in that he's 3-4 in NBA Finals. So back to what happened last night. This is the bigger picture. I have to refer to 2 on-the-fly tweets that I tweeted last night as the game was unfolding. At one point, as Kyrie just took the game over, I tweeted, "The King is so fortunate to have Kyrie Irving on his team. Sometimes I wonder who the real king is." And then my second tweet was playing off your constant assertion, your contention that LeBron James is the best player on the planet, as many people always say. And I tweeted, "LeBron is not the best player on Kyrie's planet, because when Kyrie is going like that, Kyrie's the best offensive player on this team." And we had Seth Curry, obviously, on the show yesterday, and he was making the case that, well, when it comes to handle and finishing at the rim, that it's 1A to 1B, my older brother over Kyrie Irving. I'm not sure about that. And I have nothing but respect for Steph Curry, but after what I witnessed last night, I think Kyrie has the best handle, number one, and he is the best finisher at the rim, because he's got every trick shot and then some that Steph has.
The English off the glass is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And I loved what Kyrie said after the game because he summed up his mindset and his will when he said, I kept saying to myself, they cannot tie up this series. They cannot. And Kyrie in the Kings' house just said no to Boston at that point when LeBron left the game with 4 fouls, 6:46 left in the second quarter. And down the stretch toward halftime, it was a 14-14 tie because Kyrie scored 12 of Cleveland's 14 points. So he kept Boston from just taking the game over, which I think they thought they could do at that point
LeBron.
because they had all the momentum.
That normally what happens, Skip, when LeBron leaves, that normally happens.
Okay, but what had happened when LeBron was on the floor was they fell behind by as many as 16 points because I got to tell you, I saw the same out-of-it LeBron James in the first quarter and a half last night that I saw through the second half of Game 3. I saw turnovers. I saw out-of-control charges. It just looked like he was crumbling under the pressure to live up to being the best player on the planet against a clearly inferior, undermanned, injured basketball team. I couldn't recognize him. I don't know if you could. I don't know how you defend it, but the 3 turnovers in the second quarter alone, I kept saying, wow, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Skip, this is, okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, in Game 1, LeBron had 38, 9, and 7. Kyrie was 5 for 11. He scored 11 points. How much credit did you give LeBron for that victory?
It was against a team they should wipe out.
It's the same team. The same team. I mean,
they won the second game by 44 points.
I said Game 1. Okay, how about this here? Steph Curry struggled against Portland Game 1. He struggled again in the closeout game. KD had 38 and 13. How much credit did KD get? What percentage?
We're not going to change this narrative. We're going to stay on Kyrie
No, because this. Hold up. Okay, well, how about this here?
No.
How about this?
This was an extraordinary performance, and you can't detract from it.
No. But I'm just trying to figure out how the narrative always get. When LeBron struggles, he had a meltdown. He collapsed. Anybody else struggled in the history of the game, they had a bad game. How do we always now?
Don't put Kevin Durant in LeBron's category because he's not. He's got how many rings, Kevin Durant? He's got no rings.
Let me ask. Okay, how about this here? I just wrote some names down. What percentage do we give big shot Robert Horry for making those threes in the fourth quarter to save Dream, Shaq and Kobe, and your guy Tim Duncan? What percentage goes to Robert Horry?
It helps a lot. He was big shot, Bob. He was. It was a big deal.
But
they had some help. They did.
But
Kyrie Irving is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He might end up having a better career than LeBron when all is said and done. He just might.
Skip.
He's 24 years of age.
Be real, Skip.
Woo.
The only thing that I'm saying is that if LeBron has a bad game, he had a meltdown. That's what everybody says, a meltdown. Michael Jordan had bad games. Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, all great players. But nobody used the word.
I saw every Michael Jordan playoff game. I don't remember anything like this where for long stretches you are disengaged and you disappear. You shrink.
Skip.
You go passive. You go tentative, and you're saying, "What are you doing?"
Stop painting this like Michael Jordan never had a bad game. Like Michael Jordan didn't struggle some games.
Like the 3 for 18 game.
It doesn't matter, Skip.
When they won by 20 because he made 16 of 17 free throws in that game.
Well, all I'm saying is, Skip, is that why is it that LeBron melts down, but everybody else is human and have bad games? You still won't answer that. Just answer me that.
Because LeBron is too human. He is. He is the most mentally fragile superstar I've ever witnessed in any sport. On a recurring basis, this can happen. And it happened all the way through the second half of Game 3 and all the way for a quarter and a half of Game 4. Even the 2 offensive fouls that he got, they were fouls.
Okay.
They're out-of-control fouls. They're like, what are you doing? Because he's frustrated.
You would say Kobe is mentally tough, right? Kobe was up on 2006 on the Suns 3-1. What happened?
Okay, let's go back to Kyrie. I don't even care about that. He just pouted. He didn't want the bat. He was mad at everybody.
So he had a meltdown.
I don't think it was a meltdown. He just said, I ain't playing. Not a meltdown.
Skip.
I mean, Kobe's way mentally tougher than LeBron ever hoped to be.
So he had a 3-1 lead against the Suns, and he had a meltdown, right?
Remember, there was all kinds of stuff. We don't have time to go off. I'm going to go back to what I was saying. The whole season teetered last night for the Cavaliers and even for the NBA.
That was Game 7?
When Kyrie went down with 1:49 left in the third quarter last night. Was that not a turning point moment? I thought, because he turned it completely, his ankle completely over on Terry Rozier on the fast break basket. I'm thinking, this is it. I'm thinking Kyrie, Kawhi. But of course, the basketball gods say Kawhi is really going to be hurt, but Kyrie, he just reties his shoe and jumps up, and for the last 1:49 of the third quarter, he scores 10 more points. So he has 21 in the third quarter, and trust me, the last 10 took all the rest of the heart and the fight out of the Boston Celtics. You know it, and I know it. That game was over after 3 quarters because of one man and one man only, and his name was Kyrie Irving.
I think the Kawhi injury was different, Skip, for the simple fact that was his 3rd time spraining that ankle or twisting that ankle in a week span.
Okay,
so
but
obviously
again, there's good breaks, bad breaks, so to speak, and sometimes you might come down on Zaza's size 17 sneaker, and maybe you just tweak it again and you can shake it off and keep going. But no, he turned it completely over. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he'll have some sort of ligament damage in his ankle that will take the whole offseason to heal up. So he was history for the rest of the
But Skip,
series.
why are you minimizing? You said the fourth quarter is the money quarter. That's when the big-time players, that's when the Kobe's and the Tom Brady's and the Michael Jordan.
If the game is even.
Hold on, Skip.
If it's a close,
Skip,
if it's tied, is it tied?
You'll get an opportunity.
No,
You'll get an opportunity.
I don't think I got to finish what I was saying. I let you interrupt me.
No, you'll get. I'll give you an opportunity. You told me, since I've been with you and I've heard you, because I got every show that you've ever done in the last 3 years, I have it, DVR. But you told me, Skip, the fourth quarter is the money quarter. That's where legends, that's where all-time greats carve their name for everybody to see for perpetuity.
If the game is tied or you're down 6 or 8 points and you have to be special in the fourth quarter, obviously they're up 7, then they're up 8, 10, 13. That's when LeBron's scoring his points. He got back in his comfort zone.
Within 4 points.
Again, because of Kyrie Irving, the pressure was taken completely back off LeBron James. You know it, and I know it. So, it's as clear as the nose on your face.
What about the stat? They say clutch performance. The game within 5 minutes of the ball game within 5 points. That's where that game was. LeBron had 50.
It wasn't within 5?
The game was within 4 points at one point in the fourth quarter. Yes or no?
I don't remember when that was because I just read you all of his baskets, and none of them came with the game within 4.
10:55.
Okay, well, I got layup, put them up 8, layup, put them up 8, dunk, put them up 8.
At what point in time?
Jumper, put them up 10, three-point, put them up 9. So not 1 point did LeBron score a basket when they were only up 4 points. And who cares about 4 points? 4 points is pretty good.
See what you're doing, Skip?
But they,
you keep trying to minimize the man's performance.
Kyrie had ripped the hearts out of the Celtics. You know it, and I know it. It was one of the most devastating quarters you will ever see. He scored 21 points in the third quarter, and the game was over. They were finished for the night.
But you see what now every time.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just telling you the truth.
Skip. Now, we've seen LeBron. You've told me LeBron has missed the third quarter. Kyrie is the closer. Kyrie had a span where he had 33 points.
In a close game or a trailing game, this game was done after 3. I got you. He is the closer.
It was not done after 3, Skip. They were up 6. At 10:55, they were up 4. How is it done?
What happened in Game 7 of the finals last year? Was that a close game in the fourth quarter?
Skip.
Yes. It was just teeter-totter the whole way through the fourth quarter. And finally, Kyrie Irving said, you know what? I'm sick of this. Steph keeps missing shots. LeBron's missing shots. Just give me the ball and get out of my way. And what did he do? Boom. And the game was over.
Who's the leading scorer in the fourth quarter for the Cavs?
Uh-oh, we got a sniff.
Oh, Skip, I don't know, Skip. It's cold in here. Joy, aren't you cold?
I'm always cold.
Okay, yeah, get Joy a blanket.
So,
you got the blanket on?
What's,
Joy? Okay.
I don't care. I only care about clutch time, money time, close games, trailing games.
Okay, how about this?
I'm sure LeBron has more points because they leave him in. He's playing 40 minutes a night, so he was playing games in which they were leading by 20 in the fourth quarter. And he's just padding stats.
I'm talking about Game 7 last year against the Warriors. They were down. Who was the leading scorer for the Cavaliers in that ball
It must
game?
have been LeBron. But who closed the deal? Kyrie. Who closed the deal on Christmas Day against Golden State? Help me out. I'm foggy. Help me out. Who made the shot over Clay? It was LeBron. No, wait a second. Help me out. It was Kyrie.
Okay.
Made the shot of the year in the NBA. Best closing shot I saw all year was from Kyrie.
You see what you do?
Just hung, boom.
You still try to minimize him. Game 6, he had 16 points. They're down 10 to the Spurs. He scored 16, assist on another. So now he has 22 of the 30 points. They win, but it was Ray Allen's shot. Game 7 against the Warriors, he scores 10 of their 18, but Kyrie Irving hit the shot. Last night, at 10:55 mark, they're up 4. LeBron scores 15 points. But now you still find a way to minimize him. At some point, all I'm asking, Skip, is you say be objective.
I just told you, every basket he scored in the fourth quarter was a no-pressure basket that only padded their lead.
Skip, hold on.
Way to go.
If there's no pressure, why would Kyrie say, if there's no pressure in this game, why would Kyrie say there's no way we can lose this game? We can't go back 2-2 going back to Boston if there's no pressure.
I don't know. I just have to keep repeating what I said. I'm sorry.
Hold on. So let me ask you a question, Skip. You say most people, you not included, say LeBron is the best player on the planet. If Kyrie Irving is saying there's pressure that he couldn't go back to Boston 2-2, what kind of pressure is LeBron James under?
Huge. Way more than
But
Kyrie.
it wasn't you said it wasn't no pressure.
More.
You said it wasn't no pressure, though. That's what you just said.
Wasn't no pressure on
You said there was no pressure on LeBron.
No, he said the shots that he took were no pressure shots.
Well, how are there no pressure?
The game was
if
already
you can't go back 2-2.
decided. It's
You're
already
up 4.
decided.
You only
I don't
up
know how
4.
many times I can say. I've said it like 15 times.
What you saying?
If you don't want to see it, it's okay.
No, I don't want you.
You are a blind witness.
If the fourth quarter
I still
is money
love
time,
you. You're okay.
If the fourth quarter is money time, it needs to be money time when LeBron is the king of the fourth. Not just when Kyrie is stepping up.
Yeah.
Because LeBron stepped up last night.
The money time was 6:46 left in the second quarter, all the way through the third quarter.
20 of the 25 LeBron James accounted for in that fourth quarter. 20 of 25. What percentage is that? Like
20. I thought he scored 15.
15, and he assisted. Had an
he
assist to
assisted.
Kevin Love for 3. Had a.
I didn't bring up.
Whoa.
I didn't bring up Kyrie's assist.
Hey,
but
what about that? Hey, you saw that pass right to double T, dunked it. So that's
LeBron's
the 5,
he's
15,
the
5,
best,
boom.
best passer in
20
basketball.
25.
I've told you that.
What's
Even
20
you don't get
25?
that.
Like 83%? Because I ain't good. Okay, I'm not good at math, Joe. What's 20 of 25? Like 83%? Skip. Come on, Skip. Vanderbilt. You graduated with honors. So 83% of the points that they scored in the
Way
fourth
to go,
quarter.
LeBron.
Get that man
Because
credit.
Kyrie.
30%.
Yeah.
Huh?
30%.
What's 30%?
Even for you, that's a little light.
Yeah,
I'm
30.
surprised by that.
Yeah, that's Skip Bayless scale. Skip Bayless. He said fourth quarter's money. That's what I want my guys to shine.
So Kyrie gets 30% of the
30.
credit? Whew.
You keep on talking, I'm gonna deduct some points.
Yeah, I think it just went down to 20.
Well, I'm glad that injury did not stick with Kyrie. Hopefully the injury gods are kind to the
That would've
NBA for
been-
the rest of the season.
That would have been the end
Bron
of the season.
brought it home.
He would have brought
Bron
it home.
brought it
by himself.
home.
I don't think so.
Game 5
Somebody's
is
calling.
Thursday in Boston.
No mercy.
Celebration penalties were a big issue for players and fans last season. Yesterday, the NFL announced their new changes to their policy. Here's a list of what will no longer be penalized. Players will now be allowed to use the ball as a prop. They can also celebrate while on the ground and in groups. Demonstrations that are offensive will still be penalized, such as sexual dancing, anything that prolongs and delays the game or is directed at an opponent. Bengals coach Marvin Lewis, who is on the NFL competition committee, was not in favor of the rule change. Let's take a listen.
We had a good standard, and the whole standard has always been you want to teach people how to play the game the correct way and go about it the correct way, and that's not a very good example for young people. This is a team game, and why we want to give in, I don't understand we want to give in to individual celebration.
Shannon, is Marvin right about the celebration rule?
Marvin Lewis is absolutely wrong. Skip, I love Marvin. You know I know Marvin. We was with him with 2 years in Baltimore when he's the defensive coordinator, and I can make a case that's the greatest defense ever assembled for 1 year. But Skip, he's wrong with this. If the worst thing we say about a player or parents say about their player is that I don't like that celebration, I think the players have done a great job. But how can Marvin say this when he has Pac-Man Jones, Vontaze Burfict, and they just signed Joe Mixon? Now, all these guys deserve a second chance. I have no problem with that. I gave Marvin a lot of props for stepping out when it was very unpopular in signing these guys. But Skip, you say you want to teach the youth examples? and you have those 3 guys on your roster, and you're concerned about celebrations, Skip, everybody says football is the ultimate team game. The greatest accomplishment that you can have on the field is get the ball into the end zone. You worked all week to try to find a way to run it or throw it or intercept it or recover it, but somehow you want the ball in the end zone. The ultimate team game, when you get into the end zone in your crowding moment, you have to be an individual. You can't share that moment with your teammate. People, I laugh at people. People are like, well, hey, do like Barry Sanders. Act like you've been there. Skip, go on vacation. You and Ernestine, have a good old time. Take pictures every time you go. Skip, act like you've been on vacation before. Stop taking all them pictures.
You're the one who takes all the pictures. You take them every day.
Turn on Instagram. People taking pictures of their food, their workout. Act like you worked out before, Joy. Act like you've eaten before.
Some of us haven't worked out before.
I'm like, I love Marvin, but Marvin is wrong in this instance. You can't say celebration is setting a bad example because of an individual, because you're standing out, you're drawing attention to yourself. When you have 3 guys on your roster, do you know what they've done, Marvin? If you think celebration will set a worse example than the 3 guys that you have on your roster, Marvin, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. So I have to vehemently and strenuously disagree. But the NFL was wise in this, Skip, because you know why? They saw the ratings. Now, they say the ratings had something to do with the presidential election. But it also said, the fans said, they won't let the players do what they need to do to entertain us because this is entertainment. And the players say, because this is what we know about the NFL, Skip, they don't give discounts and they don't do rebates. And if they want these sponsors and the endorsers to keep writing those big checks, them fans and eyeballs need to be watching and their butts need to be in the stadium.
So I hear what you're saying about Marvin's roster, the players he has on his roster, and there is some hypocrisy here and this and that.
At the highest order.
All right, I get that. But even though what you're saying about Marvin and his roster is not wrong, I do think in this case it's off point because, in effect, you are killing a messenger whose point I agree with. So we have to forget about the Joe Mixons and Burkharts and Pac-Man Joneses because we got to deal with what just happened.
Okay.
Because you're talking about bad apples and I'm talking about oranges. And in this case, the oranges are new liberalized celebration rules in the NFL. So if we just stay there, I'm with Marvin on what he said about setting a bad example for the kids. Even in this case, I don't care that much about that, but I do care about this. I care about, and I think you've gone with me before on this point, I don't want Pandora's box completely thrown back open because clearly now they have widened the out of bounds, right?
Yes.
Widened the boundaries. Mm-hmm. And in this day and social media age we now live in, I believe that players will begin to push those limits farther and farther and farther. Obviously, they've said no sexually suggestive antics,
yes,
celebrations, and what's the other one? The mimicking of any weaponry.
No throat slash, no bow and arrow, no six shoes, none of that.
None of that.
Nope.
And they also said nothing prolonged. But now teammates can also join in, and obviously football as a prop. So just watch, mark my words, what will happen.
You know it's coming.
It's coming. See, you're laughing about it because you're going to get a kick out of it. And I don't mind a little bit of that, but I do mind prolonged. And they're saying we're going to start the 40-second clock, the play clock, as soon as the touchdown is scored. I will believe that when I see it because it's really going to start to push the limits of the celebration because are you really going to call time on it? To the point that you're going to say it's a 5-yard delay of game penalty on the extra point kick? Because that's what you're doing. It's a 33-yard extra point kick now, which is missable, right?
It's been very dicey.
38 would be even more missable, right?
Yep.
So are you going to hold the players to no prolonged celebrations? Because I will believe it when I see it because you know what's going to happen. This is an age, this is something you did not live with when you played. It is the age of the personal brand, right?
Yes.
It is the age of Twitter and Instagram, and
Social
I need
media.
to promote myself because my agent says so, and all my followers on Twitter, whatever other social media, they all say so. I occasionally accuse you of falling into this trap because one guy living in his parents' basement in Des Moines, Iowa, can say, Shannon, what you just did was the greatest thing I've ever seen on TV, maybe putting your feet up on the table, and you say,
They like
it was. They like it. Everybody likes it. So do it again without socks up on the table.
These Tom Fords.
Unfortunately,
Are those smelly Tom Fords?
yeah, well, what I was going to say, we're lucky this is not smell-o-vision, or we'd be in trouble, right? Because we're in trouble up here, but the audience is okay.
I put Gold Bond powder in my shoe. Skip.
Gold Bond. Okay, but that's what's going to happen. You know it.
Yes.
It's going to be rehearsed.
Yes.
It's going to be one thing, and some of it I like, but I don't want my games to last even longer than they do. And this is just me, and most people would probably disagree with this. I would rather the game be delayed by replay reviews just to get the call right. If it's going to take that long, which I don't understand anyway, but if it is going to be prolonged, let's prolong the replay review and get the call exactly right, the most right we can get.
Something that's advancing the game.
Yes, that's going to help improve the game.
Right.
This will improve the entertainment value of the game, but trust me, there are some sponsors who won't love some of this. Even if it's inbounds, it's going to be prolonged, and they're finally going to say, the game now belongs strictly to the players,
Skip,
right?
in your 40 years of covering the game, you know it's about entertainment. And if I see Joy do something, and she get all these clicks and all these likes, and they keep running it on the loop on every sports show, Skip, I got the topper because it's a competition.
Really?
Yeah, I got the top
You think like that?
Yeah, look here. Everybody.
Did you know that?
Skip. Everything is a competition. That's why they keep scores. That's why they tell you how many followers you have. That's why they tell you this. Wow. You need to know. So, hold on. Joey got 150,000 retweets and 25,000 likes. Oh, I got to top that one. So what do I do?
Do you follow his stuff? I mean,
What do I
you
do?
keep
What
track?
do I do?
It's a lot of LeBron. If you can handle that, yeah.
So I told you.
LeBron
You know what's going to
pillowcase
happen.
is-
Somebody is going to have an Uber to pick them up on the field, Skip.
Okay, do you want that?
I got to see it just
You
one
got
time.
to see it one
I got
time?
to see it one time,
Well,
Skip. I
I'm
gotta
afraid
see
you're going to
it.
see it multiple times, because if they don't put a stop to it, then, again, it comes down to whose stage is this? Is it the NFL stage, or does it belong to today's players? And again, in the end, the stage makes the players, even though the players are the game. I
Yeah.
get that. But in the end, the individual players benefit greatly from the NFL stage because it gives them a catapult into fame and fortune, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But the reason why they can charge these astronomical prices, Skip, to show these games is because these eyeballs let these ratings go up and see how much money it costs you now to be a sponsor of the NFL. Because that's what it's about, Skip. NFL's about dollars and cents. If it makes dollars, it makes
Okay,
sense.
I got it. I still believe the presidential election was just so polarizing that it pulled a lot of people's eyeballs away from sports television, sports events on television. It was just a long, hard fall for sports because it took, for once, a back seat to a much bigger thing.
Antonio Brown, I need you to get the Soul Train line going.
hey,
I need Antonio Brown to have a
you
Soul
imagine?
Train line coming down the line. This is the time. Oh, Skip. Just one time, I like to go back, catch a touchdown, and I just want to come down the line like Soul Train. That's all, Skip. Don, let's put some hands together for Mr. Shannon Sharpe.
You don't even dance.
For that, I got to come down the line one time.
You're gonna come down the line?
Antonio gonna start it off. Martavis Bryant, then Juice, and then here come.
That's your move?
I
You can't do that move.
Why?
No, it's working. No,
No, I'm just coming down the line. You know, hey, you know.
Oh, that's true. That's
I ain't gonna do no
point.
twerking. I ain't no twerking.
Well, as long as you just use your
Yeah, you know, I'm just
upper
coming
body,
just like you remember Soul Train?
Of course.
With the bell. I mean, you were young, but Skip, you remember with
Oh,
the bell
you were.
bottoms, the polyester.
Ooh. Now,
Yeah.
you got to give me American Bandstand, too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on.
Solid gold.
You used to wear the shoes?
No, the platforms. I did a Halloween party. I had it with. Got the platforms.
No mercy. The Cavs came back from 16 down to beat the Celtics last night. We're joined by former NBA champ Steven Jackson. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Sir.
After last night, what shot would you give the Cavs against the Warriors in the finals?
They have a chance because they are, have the best player in the world, LeBron James. But LeBron's been crying for help all this time. He didn't understand. He had one of the best players in the league right there on the side of him, in Kyrie. So they definitely have a chance, and it's going to be good to see.
When LeBron said they were top heavy, he didn't lie. They scored 93. Kevin Love, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving scored 93 of their 112 points. Would you say that's top heavy?
That's definitely top heavy.
I said at the beginning of the season they were going to win the title. Now, it's going to be more difficult because what Golden State did is that they traded out Harrison Barnes, a guy that scored 12 to 14 points, and brought in Kevin Durant, a guy that can go get you 30 every night.
MVP.
In a 7-game series. He can get you 30 nights. He's been an MVP. He's a 4-time scoring champ. He's been an all-NBA player. So with that being said, all it's going to do, Skip, is make LeBron, because when he pulls this off, there'll be no more questions. He will be the greatest basketball player because he would have beat 4 all-NBA players, 4 all-stars on one team. It's difficult to...
So we're just going to sweep those 4 finals losses right under the carpet and go forward, right?
Just like we sweep them aside for Tom Brady that lost 2 in the Super Bowl. But let me finish this. Repeating isn't easy because think about this, Skip. The Spurs, and you know this better than I, they won 5 championships, but they never repeated. The Celtics' big 3, they say that was the greatest front court ever assembled. They never repeated. The Golden State Warriors won 140 games over a 2-year span. They didn't repeat. It's not easy.
Wait, did Jordan repeat?
Yeah.
He
Skip.
he three-peated.
Okay.
Twice.
Yes, he repeated.
Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe three-peated. LeBron James repeated. In Houston, in Miami, when he took down KD, 3 all Hall of Famers in waiting, and he took down another 4 the following year in San Antonio. Now, you take
Thanks
it from here.
to Ray Allen.
It doesn't matter who it's thanks to. See what he did?
It was really because Pop cut me. I would have got that rebound.
You would have
You
got
know
that?
what?
I would've got that
That
rebound.
is the God.
Well, I'm glad you told
I
Pop
buy
you couldn't
that.
come off the bench.
I am with you. Thank you for saying that. That was that year.
That was that year.
Yeah. That man should have been
By the
coming
way-
off the bench anyway.
Tim Duncan was on the bench for that last year.
He was.
Okay, just for the record. Now back to the real question at hand. I do give Cleveland a great shot against Golden State because Kyrie Irving proved last night once again he's a bad man.
Oh, he's special.
He is a bad man. And I'm going to say it again. I said it earlier in the show. Just on handle and finishing ability, I think he's even better than Steph Curry. And those two things, handle, finishing.
Oh, yeah.
Not a better shooter because he's obviously not a better shooter than Steph or Clay. But when Kyrie wants to play defense, as he did last night, he got fired up on the other end of the floor too. He can lock people down. And he caused Steph some problems in the 7 games last year when he decided to play defense. And I'm going to throw one other top heavy on there. Tristan Thompson's a bad man. I'd want him on my team.
Oh, yeah.
And
He
by
gets
the way,
bored.
just for what it's worth, last night on plus minus, you said I'd make too much of it or not enough of it or whatever, but best plus minus on the Cavs last night happened to be Tristan Thompson's. He didn't have big numbers, but he did a lot of big little things. Because does anybody play any harder and crash the boards any harder than that man
He's
does?
a star in his role.
Yeah. And Kevin Love. I've never been a big Kevin Love fan, but he is showing up in these playoffs the way I've never seen him show up in playoffs before.
No, this is his best.
Hey, 17 and 17 last night. And he's shooting the ball with confidence I haven't seen from him before. Well, it's another weapon. And the secret weapon on the Cavaliers is a guy who hadn't contributed much at all, and that's Kyle Korver. And again, he played.
He had a plus 12, Skip, and had 0
Played
points.
20 minutes last night. He didn't even take a shot.
Nope.
Hey, when he gets cooking, he can be like Steph. You know, when he gets going, when he starts making threes, he can make them the way Steph and Clay make threes.
Correct.
So my point is that there's a mentality on the Cavaliers. For whatever reason, they're a tough matchup for Golden State because, A, they're not afraid of Golden State, and B, LeBron, Kyrie, they can go with Shumpert, JR. They can really make it hard on Golden State's guards on the perimeter because they bust them up, man.
Yeah.
They get physical with them. They get in their jocks. They push them outside of where they want to start initiating the offense. And I'm impressed with how physically they play Golden State because San Antonio can't play Golden State that way. They just have to out-finesse, out-shoot them, out-basketball them.
Right.
But this can be a little football, basketball, and LeBron obviously is as physical a player as there is in the league when he decides to be. And it's just a lot of firepower that can negate the talent advantage that Golden State has just in pure basketball talent once you've added Kevin Durant.
If Golden State can keep it, if they meet with Cleveland, which we all know they will, if they can make it a team game, they'll win. If Cleveland make it a one-on-one game, they'll win. Just like last year, you see Kyrie make that big shot at the end of the game.
Big shot.
They got the best one-on-one players Golden State has the best team, so we'll see who can implement their own style.
And I'm not discounting what Steph can do one-on-one. When he decides, when he gets going.
He's found his stroke.
He's been leading now, too.
Yes. But, Skip, the thing that gave them problem last year is that when they put Steph Curry in the pick and roll with LeBron.
Trouble.
Now you got KD, and Klay Thompson probably will start on Kyrie. So now it's not a decided that big of a disadvantage for the Warriors because Klay has some size. But when they were switching the pick and roll and Steph was trying to hold LeBron was just backing him down, shooting over the top of him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up. JR could be big because they might end up putting Steph on JR, and JR might have to post him up instead of worry about raining down all those threes. But JR hadn't really played that well this postseason.
He hasn't.
He has a lot on his mind. I think his baby girl came home yesterday, so I'm sure that's a big relief. Looks like everything's going to be okay. But the next round, I'm expecting JR.
I know, but JR, at least once a game, he makes some big shot.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about guts?
And he'll make one big shot and one bonehead play.
Yeah, he not scared to take that shot. And to his credit, we have a group chat. He sent us a picture. His daughter doing a lot better. She's doing fine. So much love to him and his family.
Okay. So on Steph's, to his credit, I think Steph Curry, to my eyes, has played the best stretch of basketball over the last month I've ever seen him play, including his 2 MVP years. So I'm going to give him that. And what Kevin Durant did, especially after Kawhi went down in the Spurs series, he was just like silly good. Like he's 7 feet tall and he just
shoot over everybody.
He just rises up and it's just like shooting free throws from wherever he shoots it. So obviously their firepower to me is beyond Cleveland's firepower.
Yes,
but I'm going to say this again. The other reason I give Cleveland a shot, I still to this day don't think Golden State has been tested because they just skated through the playoffs in part because Nurkic was gone in Portland, George Hill gone for Utah, and then obviously the Kawhi injury.
You need a little luck in the playoffs. We won in 03, Dirk was out. So sometimes you can't really
that's true.
weigh that, you know.
Okay, but your 03 team got tested sometimes where once you got to the big picture, when
we were ready.
You were ready for it. I'm not sure they've yet figured out who is the closer for this team. We saw them get tested on Christmas Day. That's the last time where I said, wow, look at this. They're up 14, and all of a sudden it gets real tight, and then, KD, you going to do Steph, you going to do it?
Right.
No, Kyrie's going to do it.
Well, the thing that LeBron does to KD, he makes him work. See, once Kawhi went out, no one can make KD work on the defensive end. LeBron can back him down and wear on that thin frame of his.
Right.
Because the guys like KD and Steph, if you just let them play offense, they're going to hit you up for 30, 35.
Exactly.
You got to make them work. And that's why Kyrie normally has a better game than Steph, because he makes him work. You got to try to stick because, Kyrie got handles. I mean, I thought Isaiah had handles, but Kyrie Irving and the way he can kiss the ball off the glass with either hand, I don't know if anybody
Trick
can have.
shots.
George Gervin at the point guard. He finishes like George Gervin.
You know what? I'm going to make one point, and you're going to laugh at me because you'll say I'm undercutting my Jordan argument. But what was Michael's signature finals play? It came in the breakthrough finals against Magic's team in Game 2 at old Chicago Stadium when he did.
He went up with the right.
Do we have that play? I don't know if we have.
You know you got it.
I don't know if they got it or not.
Everybody's saying that.
Look at this. This is signature. Okay, up and under.
That's signature.
Oh,
Definitely.
so beautiful.
That's signature, and it's beautiful.
He could have dunked the ball.
But here's my point about Kyrie. Kyrie does something like this
Every game.
Every game. Like I'm spoiled now. I'm numb to it because Kyrie, and again, he's like a smaller Jordan-esque kind of player, but he's got all that up and under stuff.
I mean, he's going and he's spinning the ball back with spinning with his left hand. Jordan could have dunked that ball. He wanted to do that.
Hey,
He could have dunked this. Give me right there in the back. Did it?
he just wanted to rub it in a little bit.
But you saw that move LeBron did on Kelly Olynyk last night? He was like spent. It was going to go up on the right, but he's like, nah, I'm going up on the...
I don't like how he's just been taking his time, going through his legs. Like they've been
turning
giving him
back on him.
They've been giving him a lot of room to do a lot of stuff that wouldn't go on if I was
Shannon,
playing.
it's
a lot of stuff that
Kelly
wouldn't go on.
Olynyk.
It wouldn't go
Hey,
on.
Jack, you remember...
Kelly Olynyk.
Spinning the ball in front of Serge Ibaka.
What game was that? When LeBron turned his back on Kelly Olynyk, said, I dare you to come take this ball. I dare you to get
No, he was like offended.
Game
You're going to
two.
try
Game
to...
two.
Really?
Yeah.
Jack, turned his back, went between his legs, and said, Kelly, I dare you to do
So
it.
disrespectful.
Man, bun, you ain't going to get jacked today.
Even
What
worse,
would have happened if
down
you did that to you?
yesterday.
I would have intentionally fouled him.
Really? I
I
believe
just
it.
ran over there and hit it one time. That's
Oh,
not
he ain't
going on.
lying.
That's not going on. But he wouldn't even try me like that. He wouldn't even try me like that.
Well, you're not man bun.
I'm not going to give him that
He was wearing
room.
his hair down, though. So
Skip, can you imagine him and Oak on the same team?
I'm glad that never happened.
Blood would have been spilled.
Skip, you're not giving your Spurs enough credit. It wasn't just Kawhi. Tony Parker was out. He was out.
Thank you.
You know?
I don't even want to. It's painful to remember.
I'm sorry. I won't bring it up.
It
Warriors
was
will have
hard to
9
watch.
days
It was hard to
off
watch.
when they face the winner of Cleveland or Boston, which we'll know is going to be Cleveland. Game 5 is Thursday. Thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
Boy, you ain't in no shape to come out here and run around.
Okay.
I know that much.
Believe that. I'm in just good shape as you in.
I know that. I'm in better shape than you.
All right, let's play 3-on-3 then.
We can play one-on-one. Put your money where your
We
mouth
can play one-on-one.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Okay.
Bring your wallet. Put your money where your mouth is, oh.
I got big boy pants on.
Hey, well, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
You want to play me and you exhibition?
Bring them right now. You ready?
Let's play.
You ready? One-on-one. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, let me put my on.
That was Oak and Kenyon Martin getting into it on Monday at a Big 3 scrimmage. We're joined now by Charles Oakley. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad
By the
to be
way,
here.
my money would be on Oak in that one-on-one battle.
Easy.
Yep.
Hey, Skip.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is my dog here. Now, me and this dude go back over 2 decades.
Yeah.
When he was playing, I was playing, he would come down to Atlanta after their season was over, and he would run on the track with us and keep up.
Really?
Yeah. But this dude got a big heart. I mean, a lot of people, you know, his exploits on the court and off the court, he didn't take any mess. But this dude got a big heart. If anything, if you need it.
This dude could have played your sport.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He tough for real.
All-American in high school, people that know that in football.
Really?
Defensive end. Played with Tim McGee, played with the Bengals and a few other teams. Pretty good. They
Did
wanted
you
me in
think
football
about
before basketball.
college football?
Yes, they wanted me, but it was hard to play 2 at HBO college. Play 2 sports.
Yeah.
Getting up in the morning at 5 and suddenly 80 degrees at 5:30.
You made a good choice. You're a coach in the Big 3 league. What happened with you and Kenyon?
You know, Kenyon's one of them guys, came in the league after all the bad guy was gone, so he tried to, get that tough role. But first pick in the draft, wasn't a great player, but he had some talent, was a great athlete. But I told him yesterday, one thing about if we do play, you got to check me on how to check you. I'll give you all the shots you want. You cannot give me the shots I want. So that was.
So you will let him
I'll beat him, probably 12-2.
You sound serious. I thought it was just
serious.
for fun, but this is for real.
Because I tell guys, that's why I work out. For people who might look at me because I got gray hair, this and that, but the most thing you know, and you know what's on this shirt, it's a big heart. So I told him I'm ready. I was ready to go because I hit my first 7 out of 10 shots when I walked in the gym.
Oh, no, he for real. No,
Oh, yeah, no
he
doubt.
ain't no play. When he say he wants to play, when he wants to do something, he wants to do something. Go ahead, Skip.
Well, you are coach of the Big 3
Big
tournament,
Three.
and the inaugural season opens on June 25th at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. You can get
Yes.
tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Let's talk about the Knicks.
Knicks.
You were ejected from Madison Square Garden, a very highly publicized incident back in February. Knicks owner James Dolan had some very personal insults towards you. So where do you stand now with the Knicks?
Have a court date June the 2nd, and I still stand on the outside looking in. It's one of them things, it's a sensitive thing. It's just sad to be in New York, somewhere when you gave your heart to for 10 years and see the fans, the city, like something happening like that in that city. And, I got a lot of support from the players who playing now, the fans, ex-players. Could have been a little more from the ex-player, but the new generation, they respect me because I've always been real nice. Every time I see a player who playing now, I would try to go and give them a lot of good courage and know what's going on with basketball and life. And I really appreciate them guys, standing up for me.
How did it get so bad between you and the owner Dolan, James?
I don't know. I don't know how it got so bad. I mean, I think once at the meeting they said it was something about what I said in the paper.
Right.
And I said in the paper, it's something in New York, it's like 10 guys writing articles every day. So always gonna be something said about the Knicks. But I guess, he's a control freak. So I don't understand why he got it out for me, but I'm gonna be myself, and I respect, the organization because they gave me a chance, play 10 years there. So have nothing bad. I just want to see them win.
Right. So are you open to going back to the Garden and meeting with James Dolan and sitting down and talking and working this out?
We tried to work it out before All-Star with the commissioner and Michael, but nothing came out of it because I'm still hiring lawyers,
Right.
for
the
my
way they handle
defense.
it. Yeah.
And So we're going to wait and see. Like I said, I'm going to go to court in a second, hopefully. Some good come out. If not, I'm just keep fighting.
So this was one of the ugliest, saddest incidents I've ever observed. You are highly respected. You are iconic within the Knick nation, Knick culture. And you look back on this, do you have any regrets about the way it unfolded that night? Do you think I should have done this or I shouldn't have done that?
Well, what I should have done probably never went to the game. It was, but like I said, I was only there for like 4.5, 5 minutes. The game had started. I'm walking down the steps to my seat. And 3, 4 minutes later, I'm being surrounded by 7, 8 guys and talking about, you have to leave. I'm not like, for what? And one thing led to another one. And it was just embarrassing. And, see my mom and all my aunts, and, Shannon, his people from down south, my people from Alabama, and it's, a lot of stuff still going on, something similar to that.
Right.
Them dirt roads still dirt roads.
That's true.
Ain't no graving, ain't no blacktopping on dirt roads still our houses where my people from. And to see all that happen in the garden, and it was just sad. But, like I told the owner in the meeting, you that sensitive about an article. I said some things, but I ain't write the article. It basically says it's the headline. In New York, Shannon might do the story, but you make the headline. Right. So he got to pass the story to the
That's true.
Editor. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's the headlines. Headlines sell paper in New York, but.
But what you said publicly in being critical of the Knicks is what all the fans are thinking also, right?
Well,
how can you not be critical of the direction they've gone?
Well, I wasn't just critical. It just was. What you want to say? They're gonna win 6 a game, but they ain't gonna win by 30. People respect me for my opinion, stuff I say. One thing about me, I've been consistent in my whole life. No matter what it is, I've been consistent. If I don't like you, I don't like you. We get along, we get along. It is what it is.
Yeah, you've been like that as long as I know you for 25 years.
Well, I made this 55. I'm gonna try another 25, 80. So, but no, I don't try to hurt no one. I always try to help everyone, no matter what the situation is. You can ask 100 players I'm played with. What I do, I'm a leader. I take care of them. I make sure they right. If you're on my team at that time, I'm gonna make sure you're right. And no one said nothing bad about me, but one person, the owner of the Knicks.
Well, I know another one, but he on TV.
Barkley.
We ain't gonna go to the chart. We ain't gonna do that. No, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Something, get on the bus at the same time. Make sure you got a ride.
The Carmelo. Now, I say Carmelo should not let Phil Jackson run him out of town, because he has a no-trade clause, and Phil Jackson gave him that contract. If you didn't want him, you shouldn't have signed him, and gave him a no-trade clause, because there are very few players in the NBA that have no-trade clauses. Right. LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony are one of them. What do you think Melo should do?
It shouldn't be but one player in this league who had one, LeBron James. But Melo, he called me when the incident happened. I called him. We had a talk, not really about what happened. He seen it because he was at the game. Right. But we was just talking about the Knicks and what's going on with him. But he in a situation that he got to speak up to Phil. Phil, one of them guys always, plant stories in the paper during the playoff, this and that. It ain't about plant story. Phil went to a job, say I'm a coach, but they put him in a different position. Right. Now he in a different position he never been through in his life. Right. Even though they had some players made trades with Chicago, you see in a little now, wasn't Phil making them. It was the GM and owner and scouts. Right. And this guy's better for our team to make it better. So now he in a problem with players ain't like that what it used to be. Players, you can't sneak and get a player now. The player's not good. Ain't no more like, I got this in the corner. I got that in the corner. I got a choice. Ain't no choices. It's not a bad choice. So Phil, for us run a triangle, Melo in the team don't really like the triangle. They want to play way about us doing, pick and roll, move the ball. But I don't know. The problem with him is Melo. Melo, they talked about it. Did nothing come out of it. Melo, he said, I want out of New York.
So you think he should leave?
Melo, just leave. Let it go. Like everybody said, take the high road. He been taking the high road because he haven't said nothing back to Phil about this incident.
How would you have handled the situation?
Talk to him, and I probably would never have a no trade in my contract, but they trade me anyway. The Bulls traded me, but you get traded. But you've been there 7 years, only been in the playoff once. It's almost hard for him to argue with Phil because he haven't done nothing but the money he getting. You got to do something and have something to fight with. He ain't nothing to fight with, but I get my numbers every night.
Do they have the talent to help him become a playoff team?
Well, the thing is, look with LeBron. Cleveland had Kyrie before LeBron. LeBron come back. Kyrie was winning 23, 25. LeBron come back, they win 50, 55, 60. It's IQ, who make guys better. I told someone the other day, if you put KD, Curry on OKC, they would make the playoff. If you put, Westbrook, what he did, body work, playing that many minutes, every game, heart and soul, he's a different type of animal. And on LeBron, it's the only other guy in the league could do that. He do it better than Westbrook because he's more efficient.
Right.
That's what a lot of these guys not efficient no more, so they get numbers, but they get numbers for themselves.
So speaking of LeBron, you obviously played with Michael Jordan, very close with Michael Jordan. How much of a shot do you give LeBron to catch and pass Michael as the greatest player ever?
I'm giving him a big shot, but I don't know if he's going to pass him. They say always an A and B. But he got to win this year. This is a pivot year for him. Because if he lose this year, Golden State going to get stronger and LeBron getting older as himself. And I think the playoffs, he's self-willed in his playoffs every night. And you see the game they lost, even though Kyrie and Curry had big games, but it's just the broad attitude for the game and his efficiency on the court. When his efficiency was down, maybe another shot here and there, they would have beat Boston. But now Boston got lucky. I mean, you can get lucky with so many times. When you're a bad team, bad gonna come out.
That's true. So you don't give him a shot to pass?
I ain't gonna say he's gonna pass him because, like I said, Mike, what he did, sit out, come back, and still win. He went 3, 2 off, 3. So LeBron been 2 different teams, and I'm glad he came back to Cleveland. He brought a lot of love back to the city.
If he wins this year,
give him this year. He need to win 3 out of the next 4, 5 years. How many years he play? And go. If he win this one, next one will be easy.
I mean,
this one is the important one.
Oh, to take down a team with 4 All-NBA players,
don't matter.
4 All-Stars.
They play. And it's 4 All-Stars. I told somebody the other day, it's still only 1 basketball. Somebody ain't happy on that team right now because he ain't getting the numbers. Because when you used to average 25, you go down to 10 and 12. It's light-skinned guy on the team. I know it's a couple.
Clay,
one of them getting them and one of them ain't.
You talk about Clay. I know you talking
about Clay. And he gonna go long as they win it. Once they start going the other way, they can somebody ain't gonna come back with the big 3, 4.
He just told you, Shannon. That's it.
Shannon,
over.
Come on, man. We was in the parade together.
Yeah.
Hey, tell him again.
Come on, man. We had to go through 1.6 feet. I picked him up at the airport. That's my city.
We can catch out Oakley, coach of the Killer Threes in the Big 3. Season opens June 25th at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Again, Gus Johnson or Jim Jackson, Michael Rappaport on the sidelines, and, of course, Charles Oakley. No mercy. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Eagles coach Doug Peterson praised Dak Prescott for how he handles himself on and off the field. Then Peterson added why he thinks Dak was so successful in his rookie season. Let's take a listen.
He understood this right away, that he didn't have to win the game for them. He knew that he had a good defense. He had a tremendous offensive line, a great runner. He had some veteran players that he could rely on, and he learned that early, as soon as he had the opportunity to play, and obviously from day one. And that's something that a young quarterback sometimes takes him a while to figure out the game that way. And that's the impressive thing, is he learned to handle that business that well, utilize the people around him, and understand that he didn't have to go win the game.
Joined by Chris Carter. Welcome, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning.
Skip, let me start with you.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
Slow down there, boss.
What is your reaction to what Peterson said?
Okay, I disqualify myself, as I often do. I'm a Cowboy fan, born and raised. I can't help myself, but I feel like I'm an objective Cowboy fan, and I feel like I'm being objective in this case. And I'm sure Doug Peterson was trying to say the right thing about a division rival. But these quotes were offensive to me because I don't think Dak Prescott still to this moment gets enough credit for what he pulled off consistently last year. This was classic positive, negative kind of praise. This was damning with faint praise. This was a backdoor compliment issued by a rival coach to the quarterback of my team, who happened to be a 4th-round draft choice, who consistently outperformed his 2nd overall pick in the draft last year, Carson Wentz. If you want to just look at QBR, it was 83 to 55, 3rd in the NFL to 24th in the NFL. And my guy Dak, 23 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions with 6 rush TDs. And his guy Carson Wentz, 16 touchdowns to 14 interceptions and only 2 rush TDs. So I'd say that's badly outplayed on Carson Wentz. So back to his contention. Doug Peterson basically said that Dak Prescott was smart enough and humble enough to realize he just needed to be a game manager, that he fell into the luckiest situation you could fall into, and that you just went along for a great ride. Baloney, he did. So Doug Peterson says he realized he didn't have to win the game for him because he knew he had a good defense. A good defense? How about a below-average defense? How about a defense that Dak knew play after play after play after third down play you had to keep off the field? And I'm going to ask Doug Peterson to pull the tape again on that 11-play, 90-yard drive late in the game against Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football at Jerry World, and tell me how many game manager plays you see in that drive, because I saw 12 yards to Cole Beasley, then I saw 15 to Dez. On 3rd and 5, I saw 10 more to Cole Beasley. I saw 19 to Bryce Butler. I saw a 12-yard crucial run. And then I saw 22 yards to Dez Bryant. I'm not sure those are game manager plays in my book, and that tied the game and sent it to overtime, during which Dak engineered a 12-play, 75-yard drive to win the game, 10 yards, 24 yards to Cole Beasley. And then how about that subtle, reverse roll left out of the pocket, the reverse scramble, by time. Oh, Jason Witten comes open, and I flip it to him for the game winner. I just don't think that's a game manager kind of play, and I don't have time to go into all the plays he made at Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers, on Thanksgiving Day against Kirk Cousins in that shootout, big throw after big throw, and then they're down 21-3 to Aaron Rodgers in the playoff game, and he merely goes 40 yards to Dez Bryant. Pull the tape on that one and tell me that's a game manager throw that got them back in the game at 21-10. So in the end, I'm sorry, but I think he unwittingly just took a shot at my guy Dak Prescott.
Go ahead, CJ.
Skip, you make some valid points. There are some, like baseball has a lot of unwritten rules.
Yes.
And NFL, we have a lot of unwritten rules too. Not as many as baseball, thank God. But one of those rules is when you're commenting about players that aren't your players, especially players that are in your division. Now, I could understand if Doug had gone out of his way to praise Dak to potentially soften him up. But in this message, he started out on point, and it was kind of like we've seen people, higher ups, people in office, they start on point, then they get off track.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. He started praising them. Then he was like, okay, this is an opportunity to make an excuse for my rookie quarterback. So I can build a case of what Carson didn't have compared to what Dak did have, which also the trade and taking the risk with Carson, like it might make more sense going into year number 2, because it looks like if Doug Peterson is there, now there was some questionable play calling, there was some questionable clock management with Doug Peterson.
Definitely.
I don't know if they're going to be battling Dak for the next 10 years, but Carson Wentz and Dak, they'll be going head to head.
Yeah.
Good point.
Don't comment on other people's players, not unless you're complimentary. Leave those players out of your mouth. Manage your football team. Now, in Doug's defense, I thought he did a good job as an offensive coordinator in the first year, because he had 2 or 3 Edward Scissorhand wide receivers that Carson Wentz was throwing to. I mean, they were awful.
They're not receivers, they're retrievers.
Yes.
A receiver will catch something, a retriever will pick it up and bring it back to you, because the ball was hitting the dirt a lot, and they was picking it up, throwing it to the officials.
So they had good plays, and when you have a young quarterback, he can't afford, from a confidence standpoint, drop passes. So do I know what Doug was trying to do? Yeah, he started on course, then he got off track. And as a rule, concentrate on your players. Talk about your players, how they're going to get better. It's the OTAs. The fans want to hear about your players. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott, because we didn't know, so we changed the narrative. Oh, we didn't know Dak was going to be good. So now we got to give everyone else the credit because we didn't know. It was the same way with Aaron Rodgers. It was the same way with Russell Wilson. It was the same way with Tom Brady. Every time we miss or don't know, we have to change the narrative so we look smarter. The truth is, we didn't see Dak coming. We didn't know Tony was going to get hurt, and he played as good as we have seen a rookie quarterback play
ever.
And we've been watching the game. 40, 30, 28 years. That's a lot of years of watching the NFL.
30 to 28?
Well, I got a couple years on
You
him.
got a couple years.
I got just a couple years on him.
But I remember
I thought it was the other way around. You look so much younger than
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Skip. You know good.
Black don't crack or chocolate brown don't crack.
Good black don't crack. Just look at that, Skip.
Looks good.
Man.
Now, I love your Obama suit.
You like that?
No, I think you're going to say something. In that suit right there, I think you're going to say something.
Don't I look quite
Wait, are you
presidential?
going to go rock on me and run for office?
No.
No.
Not with this graveyard I got in my closet. You talk about skeletons. There's a whole graveyard season. They start
I
digging
don't
up.
think
Did you have a problem
I
with
think we've established that doesn't actually matter anymore.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right about it.
I think that's as important as
He gave the man a backhanded compliment. He's like, oh, yeah, he had a great season. I mean, he was throwing the ball, one of the great seasons for a rookie. But he didn't have to do anything. That running game and that stout defense.
No, he knew immediately. Those were his words. He knew immediately he had a lot of help.
Skip, if you're going to heap praise on somebody, heap praise on them and leave it at that. Don't heap praise on them, but then take it back by saying, well, he didn't have to do much. He knew he was humble enough to understand he didn't have to win the game. He had a stout defense. That defense was terrible. He also knew Dak knew that if I turn this ball over and I put my defense on the field more than they absolutely should be, we're going to lose. And then, because what he's trying to do, and I agree with you, CC, what he's trying to do, we traded up to get our guy who's going to be good. Y'all saw it right there, and he fell into y'all lap at fourth. Because I need to make myself look smart because y'all didn't really do anything. He just fell to y'all. We moved up and got the guy that we wanted. Either way, like Colonel Nathan Jessup says, I don't give a D what you think how my quarterback played. Why are you commenting? Worry about Carson Wentz.
Who said that?
Nathan Jessup and A Few Good Men.
Oh, okay.
Did you order the code red? I did the job. Did you order the code? You're damn right I did.
Was that a quarterback
It's one of his favorite
No.
monologues.
okay.
Yeah.
Dak doesn't care what you think. Did he or did he not win games? All Dak knows, there was a point in time in a 16-game season, I won 11 straight games. I won 13 out of 16 ball games. Your quarterback did not. At one point, he lost 7 or 9 during the middle of the season. So while you over there critiquing me, homeboy, you need to worry about your partner that's in your own apartment. Ooh, if I was Dak, no. See, I couldn't be no quarterback because, you know, I speak truth. I'd have called the press. Hey, tell Doug Peterson, was I managing the game when they had that 14-point lead and I stormed back? Was that managing the game? How about them throws? They were not safe, easy throws. There were not any check downs. I was throwing outs. I was throwing in cuts. I was throwing goal routes. Now run tell that, Doug.
Now, Doug Peterson, I know he don't know any better. This is the way young coaches are. They make mistakes. That's in those press conference. But, Skip, I've been holding this one back on you for a couple weeks. I got to tell you, I talked to Dak a couple weeks ago in Vegas at the fight. Asked him. My man Skip is worried about a sophomore slump. He told me, tell Skip, don't be worried about that. Was looking good.
Hey, now wait a second. I'm not worried about.
No. I'm just saying. I actually physically talked to him.
Yeah. All right.
Checked in with him.
Shannon's checked in with him.
Yeah, but I checked in with him, so I was.
Good.
And I had to ask him about the sophomore slump. Don't be concerned about it. I'm coming back even better than I was.
Was he convincing when he said it?
Yes.
Did he look you in the eye?
Good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to get on the phone today, and I'm going to call Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins. And he's going to tell me he signed on for another 3 years at the Warden, at the NYPD, at Dez Bryant.
You just couldn't let it wrap up with
Just
something
a
nice
nice
for the
feel
Cowboys.
good little.
Like everyone just
you got to top that.
Doug Peterson needs to not talk about Dak. You just had to throw
For
it in
3
there.
catches for 27 yards,
So
but
you're
no
saying
touchdown.
Dak will have a sophomore slump just in game 1 next year because of Janoris Jenkins.
Oh, the Giants are winning the division.
Oh, really?
I thought I made that abundantly clear.
Wait, the team that's 20-1 in Vegas to win the Super Bowl?
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Joy Taylor. Make sure to tune in on Thursday.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.